Hey guys, and welcome to a special edition of To Whom It May Concern. So this week, it's my husband and I's 10-year marriage anniversary. And so my husband is joining me, Jared.
Hey guys.
We asked if people would be interested in us doing a special marriage version of To Whom It May Concern. People seem to be interested. So we have a list of questions, but before we get to those, we just want to put out there the disclaimer. Here we go.
It didn't.
I was just about to say, it didn't work for us. It did not work for us.
No, it did not. It didn't. We brought a lot of crap into a marriage. And even though my intentions on getting married were honorable and good, like I said in the beginning, I had not yet dealt with me. And what good is an umbrella if it has holes in it? It's not gonna work the right way. And to be a covering for my wife and my kids with so many holes in who I am as a person, it didn't edify. It was to no real positive effect. And those first 5 years of our marriage suffered because of the gaping holes in my character and personality. She had gaping holes in hers as well, gentlemen. But for me, I'm only speaking from my perspective. If I could do it all over again with the same kids and the same woman, I would push the date back and I would have really dealt with myself, given myself time to grow and mature as a man before I dragged her through really 8 years of just, it was rough. It was rough for those first 8. I didn't get good till 9. And we're on 10.
That's not true, but it is rough. Getting married young, again, like I said, it did not work for us. God worked for us.
Right.
I think regardless of when we got married, just the amount of stuff we had to deal with just individually and then as a couple, nobody was going to get us through that but God.
Right.
Period.
Right.
The fact that we've made it, and I know a lot of other couples who get married young don't, I attribute to God with just a slice of our willingness to allow Him to work on us. That's big. It wasn't just God alone, as far as like we just prayed and then went on doing our normal stuff, but really praying, but then allowing God to do that hard work. Allowing God to deal with the roots in those deep places of hurt and rejection and disrespect and all of that stuff. Now getting married young, what I will say I think helped us is that most of our relationship type baggage came from each other. Yeah. So he didn't really have to deal with baggage that wasn't his. I didn't really have to deal with baggage that I didn't cause, relationship wise. Now, of course, we had baggage just from, life. Families and lives and, stuff like that. But we got together, we were 17 and 18.
Right.
So we hadn't had, too much like traumatic experience in relationships and stuff. So I think that I think that does help. We kind of avoided those kind of problems. But other than that, man, listen, God and being willing to work is really what has worked for us.
Well, I had to create a schedule for myself. We have a lot of things that we do. It's easy to get lost in the sauce when there is 2 dominating personalities and a household to run and maintain.
And 4 kids.
Yeah, 4 children. For me, I had to create a schedule. And it was a proposal too. So it was a proposed schedule for me to work on music and what God has given me, but I left it open for her to make changes too. That way we could come to like a healthy compromise, and that it's inclusive. And I feel like that's her way of supporting me, is to give me that time to work on my own thing. Just as how when I proposed the schedule, I put in days and times that I wouldn't work to let her have the day to work.
Especially right now, because we're trying to do all of this stuff full time. That's our goal anyway. And so for right now, we're both going hard for our purpose and for ministry and stuff like that, building brands, building businesses, it gets really thick. That is a right now ongoing struggle, trying to balance the two schedules, the two needs, which things could be put on the back burner temporarily, which things can be shoved to the forefront temporarily. For example, when he wants to do a Boy Just Rap, it's not about, if Friday is approaching, it's not about, my to whom it may concern for the next week. That's what's getting pushed to the forefront in that moment, because we need to get that thing done. I need to get it edited so that it can be ready to go. Like those kind of things. I think really prioritizing what matters in the moment, long-term, short-term things, what has the possibility of growth, what we really have to take, because sometimes stuff can just change. If something really starts to pick up or an opportunity opens up, sometimes we just have to make that sacrifice play. I think just being open and flexible and willing to do what makes the most sense for your family at the time. It just takes a lot of flexibility, understanding, and balance.
Knowing how your spouse works.
Yeah.
Knowing how your household flows.
Yes.
I think both of those things are important. When I figured out my schedule, it was one of those things like, I cook around this time. Let's try to make sure that you're not so busy locked in. So let's try to factor those things in when trying to do something for ourselves.
All of life is a balance, right? We're always trying to balance, our own personal needs and our own, self-care against what my husband needs, what my family needs from me, or whatever. Part of really supporting each other's purpose and stuff too is that the more effective we are in our purpose and the more effective we feel we are in our purpose, the better usually our family, the better experience our family has with us.
Right.
We are better to our family and to each other when we feel like we're operating in our purpose and in our call. We all know and feel like we're, familiar with that the woman is supposed to submit. Authority-wise, this is true, but there is supposed to be an element of mutual submission. And I think that is what Jared was getting to when he was talking about if somebody's stronger in a certain area, you allow them to be dominant in that area. That's the kind of mutual submission. Now, when it comes to authority, in no question, especially in our belief, the man holds the authority. Right? But I think what really sets the stage to allow a wife to feel comfortable in that submission is knowing that she has a husband who loves and understands her, which is what the Bible talks about, a husband should do for his wife, to dwell with her in understanding, love her like his own body, right? Sacrifice for her. So I feel like when both of those things are happening, it allows for the environment where she feels comfortable submitting. He feels comfortable taking that authority and doesn't feel challenged because he's trying to love and understand her. I feel like it kind of feeds into the sacrificial place, esteeming others higher than yourself and stuff like that. But I think submission is powerful. Being able to submit to somebody else's authority is really powerful. It takes a great deal of wisdom, understanding your role and place in your family. I'm opening it up to you.
No, I agree. I agree with everything she said. And I will add, as men, sometimes we take that to so much of an extreme that it feels like that we're their dad and not their husband. The Proverbs 31 woman, she considered a field without her husband's input and she bought it. She didn't run to her husband and ask him if she could. She made that decision for herself. And that goes to, you got to pick your spot. And I think we should take a quick commercial break right here. Where were we at?
You were just saying that men can sometimes go too far.
Right. I think one of the things, just like Christ empowers us to move and function in the earth and have dominion, the husband should do that for his wife. It shouldn't be a thing where it's a controlling thing, because one of the fruit of the Spirit is gentleness. And it's never forcefulness. You don't have to force anything. Submission should be a willful act. Men should lead in that willful act, not just commanding something from their wife. And this isn't pandering, by the way. This is something that I've learned over the course of 13 years being with her, 10 years married. And just for for your own peace.
Listen, and this is the thing. I'm very headstrong. I'm very strong-willed. Yeah. And so it could be a good thing and a bad thing. And I appreciate that he has found some kind of balance where I do still feel empowered and like I want to submit. If that makes any sense at all.
Because you got to give somebody the freedom and the space too.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes is lost.
I'm big on creating the environment. Like, I can't control what he does or doesn't do, but I can create an environment that makes it easier for him to do.
Right.
You know? Yeah. Okay.